Did you bring the takes today?
I always bring the takes, man.
You got some takes in that bag over there?
I left them in my other game.
Ah, crap. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR show.
Let's go.
Presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Choose your offer. Find out why, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. We're also in the Toyota Lounge today. Always love being in the Toyota Lounge. Driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Hop in the Toyota chat. Join the supporters club. Join the conversation. Today's show is going to be a great one. Hangover Takes. I have some on Peyton Watson. Really stood out in the rewatch. Last handful of years, the Nuggets have known their closing five lineup, and there was comfort in that. Every night, you go to the closing five, they get the job done. But now they have closing lineup versatility, which brings positives and negatives, perhaps. We'll talk about that. Also, what do we know about the Nuggets already? What do we think we know? And what have we yet to learn? All of that and more. Brendan Vought's going to talk about it.
Man, I'm so excited to talk about it. I did write about it last night, and the members, the diehards, can enjoy full access to all of our written content this season, plus tons of perks. So make sure you head to thednvr.com and sign up today.
That's a great promo right there. Over here, Harrison Wind.
That is a great promo, man. I'm still buzzing off last night. We needed that so badly.
Yeah.
Especially against that Minnesota Timberwolves team, man. Thank God they won that game.
Thank
God they won it in the fashion they did. It was really exactly what we would have wanted to see.
Yeah, get tested. Your metal gets tested. Things aren't going
Murray
right.
Rises above it.
Put them in the foxhole, and then what happens? You win by almost 20 points. Actually, 13 points, but it felt like 20.
Yeah.
A lot of things checked the boxes last night. Kale, let's go to the hangover. Get some hangover takes going. Oh, he's like,
Kale, just fired up.
You know what, Kale? Fired up. Just fired up.
This
Kale.
Why not? This is the podcast morning of drinking again the next morning.
Tuesday.
So true. Here's my number one hangover take. Because I was on the timeline last night. I wasn't on the timeline during the game, but you go home on a night like that, you're lying in bed, you're going to be on the timeline, see what the people are saying. Here's what I want to encourage Nuggets fans. I feel really good about this team. I hope my feeling good, not that I'm telling you have to feel the way I feel, but I hope my feeling good about the team calms the nerves of some people, because we've gone through the last 2 years where we've kind of had to, we're white knuckling it from start to finish. And, there's this or that. I don't think you have to do that this year. So there's some guys that haven't looked good. CB didn't look good. Aaron Gordon, there's questions about him. And of course, Cam Johnson had his worst game of the season, has yet to have a great game. And I think there's some people that are like, I don't know. Guys, relax. Nuggets are 2-1, narrowly lost to a very good Warriors team on the road. And they have so many things that are going well that you can focus on the bad. It's part of the story. We'll talk about it. But I just would tell Nuggets fans, the Nuggets look really good. They actually look really good despite the things that have gone bad. Enjoy this year, because there's going to be way more good than bad.
Yeah. And I think, the things that people might be worrying about, I just don't think they're you're smart to worry about them. If it's CB and Aaron Gordon, what you should worry about is the bench. And the bench looks really
bench looks good. So yeah.
What you should worry about coming into the season is, do they have enough shooters?
Yeah.
Well, Tim Hardaway looks like he's going to really help with that. So the big problems that we thought about this team that they had to address in the offseason, that we thought they might have, it looks like they did. And I think you can trust that, the known guys on this team are all going to, come into place and play up to the level we know they're capable of. It's the biggest questions that we were wondering about. It looks like we have solutions to those. And that, to me, is the most encouraging thing.
Well, I would argue the biggest question or the biggest swing factor for the Nuggets season was Jamal Murray. And so the other ones fall below that. Jamal Murray right now through 3 games has checked the box as well as you could check it.
In the past, there was I think, less complete version of this roster where we even still thought if Murray can just get back to a certain level, they have a chance. You might be looking at both here. You might be looking at they fleshed the roster out, and this is the best Murray has looked. We, didn't get to hear a ton of Jokic talk after the game, and I don't want to step on your toes. I know we'll talk about it later. But at one point he said explicitly, Murray came into camp in good shape. He's ready to go. The big fella sees it. And I think in the first 2 games you saw it physically, right? He looked quicker. His conditioning looked better. But this is for him to drop a 43-point performance this early into the season, it's unprecedented for him. This is a guy whose averages are buoyed by second half runs. If he's ready to play well now, it bodes well, not just for their record, not just for their offensive rating, but for the belief that can swell about what they're capable of.
I believed when I went back and rewatched that Warriors game that a lot of the Nuggets' process was stuff that I was like, it was good. You could point to Aaron Gordon had 50 points. He doesn't do that very often. They left him wide open. He goes 10 of 11, 9 of 10, 10 of 11, 10 of 11 in that game.
Whatever.
Jokic went 2 of 13. And in both cases, guys were wide open. That was the choice that the Warriors were making, was to leave them open. And I think you could argue that leaving those guys wide open, they're going to go 12 of 23. That's a little hot, but not crazy hot. If you factor those two things together, in one hand, out the other. If you go back to this game, man, the sequence that really defined the first half of this game was the Jamal Murray missed layup, Jamal Murray wide open 3, Aaron Gordon missed dunk. Those 3 plays.
Oh, yeah.
I think if you replay that sequence 9 times out of 10, it results in 8 points. An AG dunk, you never see that miss. Murray wide open from the corner. I mean, probably 60%.
Was that the alley-oop?
No,
or was that the
Murray?
There were 2 missed alley-oops.
No, I'm talking about early. The Nuggets continued to miss shots. The Nuggets had a lot of other ones, but I'm talking in the second quarter when you felt like, oh my God.
CB lobs it up high, and Aaron, yep.
And then
the one on the break, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you had a Murray miss a layup that was just like a mildly contested layup that he just left hand off just rimmed out, and you're like, oh my God, you never see him miss that. And that's what turned the game. That was the sequence where it was like, oh man, and then the wheels fell off. So I just look back at that and say, hey, I don't think the Nuggets are going to make those kind of errors that often. They made them in this one and still came away with a 13-point win.
Yeah, it seems like they have so much more margin for error this season than they've had in years past.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Especially last year. Last year, Jokic's averaged 30, 12, and 10. They had to have good games from the starters. The starting lineup had to outscore their opponent by 10-plus points for them to have a chance. But with the bench being good, there's just more margin for error with these lineups and how they can mix and match them, throwing Hardaway out there with the starters, Jamal being able to carry this version of the bench unit, Big Val's presence. They can play more relaxed too, because they have more margin for error.
Here's another Murray take for you guys. In the stats, we said on the show last night, his career high in October was 27 points.
This is stunning.
27 points in the month of October. He had never had a 30-point game. He had a 43-point game last night, but that's not all. He has a 23, a 25, and a 43-point game. Coming into the year, he only had 5 games in his entire career where he scored 23 points in October. 23 is a low bar. Only 5 times.
It's easy to get
He's
23.
3 for 3 this October.
His October average in his career is 15.8 points per game. He's up to 30 right now. So as far as projecting small sample size, as far as historical precedent for Jamal Murray, this is objectively a great start.
The next item here I have for you is Peyton Watson's game. I told you I thought his first game was really bad. It just was a really bad game. But I think his last 2, part of the thing about Peyton Watson, he is a Hollywood guy from LA, kind of has this razzle-dazzle personality. But his game is actually, it's best when you noticed it least defensively, because it means he's taking away shots. And then offensively, you want it to pop, but it's never going to pop that much. I shouldn't say never. At this moment, I think his 20-point games are going to be rare. It doesn't need to happen. But last night, get this stat line. Jaden McDaniels had 21 points with 6 minutes and 49 seconds left in the third quarter when Peyton Watson checked into the game.
Oh, man.
He was guarding Naz Reid, but just by virtue of having another guy, he did guard Jaden McDaniels in 2 different stints. Jaden McDaniels did not score in those stints. He had 4 points total after 6:49 in the third quarter when Peyton came in, essentially played the rest of the game. He checked out for a little bit, checked back in. But he had just 4 points. One of them on Jamal Murray. One of them, he drew a foul on Christian Braun and knocked down 2 free throws. That was it. 1 of 4 with 2 turnovers. And a lot of that came with Peyton Watson down the stretch when they were trying to go to him. That was with Peyton Watson on him. You don't even notice all of the plays because when I went back, there was a handful, like Jaden McDaniels throws the ball out of bounds twice trying to make a cross-court pass.
Right.
Both of those are Peyton Watson defending or making the play. And all you notice is Jaden McDaniels makes a bad play. Peyton Watson, his defense, it's still inconsistent. He still does like certain things to it. But he's the only guy that can make that kind of impact on a guy like Jaden McDaniels, where he was the difference maker in the game until all of a sudden, with 18 and a half minutes to go, he was a complete non-factor to close the game.
Yeah. And it just shows Peyton Watson's importance to this team. I mean, it's not like Jaden McDaniels is an all-world offensive player. He's a really good player. He's not, your prototypical number 1 or number 2 option, that you're going to see on a really good offense. But the Nuggets don't really have a guy like PWAT defensively. They don't have a natural matchup for Jaden McDaniels. Aaron Gordon can guard him maybe a little bit. Christian Braun maybe a little bit. Jaden McDaniels, he was cooking Cam Johnson early in that game. Mm-hmm. They didn't have an answer. But PWAT's, that's his importance to this team. Like, he can guard those guys. And when he can just shut them down like that, that's exciting.
And you can keep him on the floor to close the game and for an extended stint if he's also hitting his corner threes, he's converting on his fast break layups, and he's playing smart basketball. And last night, he made a open and shut case for closing that game, right? No one was on the timeline, even at the time, saying, where is CB? And that's not really a criticism of CB so much as it's Peyton earned it. And we talk about how matchups seem to be more important than ever in the era of parity. To Wynn's point, like, there was maybe a time in his career where Aaron Gordon could have handled a player like that. He's not quite as quick anymore, right? So that combination of
he
length,
struggled last night defensively, I thought.
I agree. And length and quickness, it becomes a wheelhouse spot for Peyton Watson. And then think about that matchup when everyone's healthy. You want Christian Braun guarding Anthony Edwards. Good luck. It's still what you want. So then what about Jaden McDaniels? Well, if you feel like you can go to Peyton Watson heavily in that series, that changes the equation. So tracking his offensive production across the year because you're banking on what he can do defensively, like this, him not signing the extension matters for his career and the long term. But this year, David Alderman clearly wants this to work out, and last night Peyton Watson made it so.
Even long term, though, there is a case to be made. If what do you need Cam Johnson to do? Like Cam Johnson is doing a lot of things, in my opinion. We'll talk about later on that impact the Nuggets in a positive way. Just screening and cutting and some of the passing, even. But defensively, there's no question who the better player is. Peyton Watson's the better defender. Cam Johnson's going to be the more well-rounded and better offensive player. But if he can make his three-pointers, especially under pressure, it's like, hey, man, that's actually more or less what you need from that position. So I love that PWAT seems to be so firmly in the – I think in the last few years it was like develop, but you're only going to get so many opportunities and you have a short leash, and that's hard to develop. It seems like David Adelman says, you're going to play no matter what. It's going to help us a lot if you play well. But that's a longer leash that allows a player to go out and play with confidence. And I will say, of all the things you can say about PWAT, I do appreciate his confidence. It's the same with Tim Hardaway Jr. And we said last night, you just needed somebody that wasn't afraid to shoot. I don't think Peyton Watson's afraid to shoot either. Doesn't always make good decisions, but he's not afraid to do things. And there's something to be said for it. Lastly, it is interesting that Jaden McDaniels went off because you mentioned he's not that great of an offensive player. I would argue that he's not a very pretty offensive player, but he is effective. And he's in a reduced role, but when you see last night where he has to become a number 1 option, he is hard to cover because of how long and athletic he is, and he has good touch. I've always thought that was PWAT's closest comp.
Right.
Jaden McDaniels is better offensively than him, but I also look at it and say, is it that far-fetched to think that PWAT could grow into that level of offensive player that we saw last night where he has nights like that?
It's not far-fetched. He's got to get a little stronger. He's just got to get a little bit more solid in like his fundamentals, finishing and driving to the rim and
For
stuff.
sure.
Like Jaden McDaniels, he has a power game. Like especially when he's driving and getting to the rim and like getting to his spots. Like you said, it's not very pretty. Like he kind of just powers his way in and goes by his defender if that guy's smaller or just weaker. He can just use his strength to get by and get an angle and get to the rim. So I think it's definitely something PWAT can replicate. And, PWAT, he has the vision. We've seen it a little bit. Going back to the preseason and a little bit in these couple of games, the connection with Big Val's been there a little bit, especially against Phoenix. The playmaking, he's shown that as well. So I definitely think it's a realistic goal for him to grow into.
And to me, that's what's exciting about it is I think they're a little bit different. I think Peyton Watson, a better passer. McDaniels, maybe a better scorer when you project forward. What can Peyton Watson be? But they both have what Shea has, and one of the things that makes Shea Gilgeous-Alexander so useful, which is very high hips, very long legs. And so when he takes strides, they're really long. And when like Jaden McDaniels had multiple plays where he shook guys last night off of one drive to forward, step back. But the legs, like he's covering 10 feet of space because his legs are so long that as a defender, you have to cover so much ground. Peyton Watson has some of that. So I just love the development path that he has been on since the start of training camp. And I look at that and say, in my opinion, Peyton Watson is going to get really good by January, February, March. And I'm very optimistic that we're going to see the best of him later on. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, the Nuggets might not have a closing lineup that is as written in pen night to night as it has been in years past. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Guys, check out Denver's best roofers, Red Hawk Roofing, the presenting sponsors of our The Next Chapter documentary. You can check that out on YouTube. So shout out to them for helping to make that possible. And look, if you have any roofing needs, do not be afraid to hit up Red Hawk Roofing. RedHawkRoofing.com, 720-771-8921. Tell them DNVR sent you. They're huge DNVR supporters, so we're huge supporters of them. They've got decades of experience, the quickest response time, Colorado's best estimators and contractors. Support your local teams and local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. 720-771-8921, redhawkroofing.com.
Have you ever been outside on a nice fall day and you decide you want some good hot food in you? You got to get it done at Fire on the Mountain.
Man.
Fire on the Mountain has
we need a night out with the fellas here.
Is this? We're good on this, right? I just want to make sure. Yeah.
When should we go? We should do a little outing.
Fire on the Mountain is Denver's favorite local wing joint. It's featuring hormone-free, antibiotic-free, cage-free wings. We talked about it last night on the show as we debuted this sponsor, and if you saw the chat, everyone was popping off. They all agree. Fire on the Mountain is the best wings in Denver. But they also have an incredible craft beer list and some killer cocktails. So it's a good place to hang out, not just pick up some wings. You get $5 beers on Mondays, an hour all day on Tuesdays. What a treat. They also have some vegan options as well. You know, sometimes you still want to eat some greasy food, but you're not trying to have any dairy. Fire on the Mountain's got you covered too. Grab $5 pints on Mondays, all day happy hour on Tuesdays. And they now offer delivery from their Wash Park store. I've been there. It's great. I used to live over there. I miss it. Try the best wings in Denver at DNVR Broncos tailgates, by the way. Got a couple coming up on the 6th and the 16th. I'll be there filming some man on the street stuff. Looking forward to seeing you. And I hope you are enjoying some Fire on the Mountain wings. Or visit their spots in the Highlands and Wash Park.
Alrighty, we're back here, segment 2. Make sure you hit the like button. You have one more hangover take.
I do. So, beginning of the fourth quarter, I don't know if you guys remember this from the game. I went back and watched it again this morning. Yoke's sitting on the bench. He's in the huddle. He walks out onto the court, beginning of the fourth quarter, and he sees the Timberwolves and how they're aligned on offense.
I love this, yeah.
And he recognizes it and gets CB's attention. He yells, "Christian," and he goes like this. And he's telling him his man, Dante DiVincenzo, he's going to snake through the lane and go around to Gobert screen and then come get the ball on the other side.
He's the best.
Yoke sees the play in real time, diagnoses it, clears out of the way so CB can get around Gobert, and he knows the play, so he's in the middle, he's in the paint. He breaks up the pick and roll that's happening on the other side as well. So Denver blows up the play, and it was just so cool to see him recognize that in real time, coming out of the timeout, the stoppage, and just help Christian through that and get a stop. It was just like another example of his brilliance.
I feel like he probably does this 20 times a game, but we only catch the camera a handful of times. But this one, you're right. You could totally see him do this and kind of point, and then DiVincenzo kind of like run.
He's like, shit, I'm doing exactly what he said I was going to do.
You know, if you're on the court for that moment and somebody's like,
yeah,
hey, Vote's going to go like this and over here, are you like, well, now I'm not going to do that? Or you're like, well, the play does call for me to do that.
So it's a good point. You have to do it. You can't not do it. You're going to get yelled at if you don't.
But you're so right. It happens so much. Shout out to Peacock for capturing that on video.
I have one as well. I can try to go quick on here, but it's just an early thing I'm tracking in this Wolves matchup. And it's too early to say any of this definitively. And most importantly, they were without Anthony Edwards last night, who has in the past been a very good Jamal Murray defender. But if you look at some of the sliding pieces in and out of this roster over the years, Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns in a lot of ways has worked out for them, but specifically in how they've guarded Denver in the past, it's not quite the same as Cat guarding Jokic and Gobert roaming. Now, they have McDaniels, they have Edwards, they've also had Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So it's felt like really a small army of guys who can give Murray a hard time, make life harder for Jokic. Again, Ant was hurt last night. That's important. But people feel great about Terrence Shannon Jr. coming in and filling that role offensively. And he can get buckets. It's not the same defensively. So my point is this slowly but surely swinging back to a more favorable matchup personnel-wise for Denver? It's too early to say, but it's not just that Jamal Murray was in shape. Perhaps they're less equipped than before to just be this absolute defensive juggernaut. And one stat that Dane Moore shared before last night's game, through a 2-game sample size, is that the Wolves are a 20-point worse defensive team. Their defensive rating is 20 points worse with Rudy Gobert off the floor. So are they still that team? Perhaps the answer is yes, but it's something I'm tracking.
And you're right that perhaps it's not. I will say that I think what they still have over Denver is that athleticism gap.
100%.
And I think that Randall represents an athleticism boom. I mean, we saw last night he juked Jokic twice on these plays where it's just like, yeah, Jokic's not athletic enough to guard that. So I think it's like a little in one hand out the other, but nonetheless, I will say this. I'm glad they beat him without Ant because it sets the table for their next one, which might also not have Ant. But I kind of like that they got a win over Minnesota, but it's not, the itch is not fully scratched, so that the next matchup is just as exciting or just as, you anticipate it just as much. Last night, it's no small thing that David Adelman elected to close with Peyton Watson. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. was kind of a lock, not just because he hit shots. It's an interesting question that if Cam doesn't get hurt, does he close that game? I would say no.
Agreed.
I think Adelman would have just gone with Tim Hardaway Jr. because he was making shots, but we'll never know. But going with Peyton Watson over Christian Braun, to me, was very meaningful. And in years past, really for the last 5 years, the Nuggets' closing lineup has been set. It was your 5 starters, and you would go to that because they had versatility, but they also were the best 5, and there was no wavering from that. The only times you would go against it was Russell Westbrook did close a handful of games over Michael Porter, but sometimes Christian Braun. And Bruce Brown in 2023 did close a handful of games, over KCP or over Michael Porter. So you'd have one guy that was maybe a flex. You had your start closing lineup at a flex. I wonder if last night hints at maybe that's not the case this year. I think Michael Malone was a guy who really had a sense of we are who we are and nothing changes that and we're going to do this. And David Adelman maybe has a bit more pragmatic approach where he's like, whatever, I'm a mad scientist, I'll put combos together. I don't know that one is better than the other, but I do think it's an important philosophical shift that you're willing to say your starting 5 is your starting 5, but your closing 5 can change night to night.
He's running a meritocracy in Denver. He said he would in the playoffs last year. And it felt like, all right, there's a certain circumstantial way of managing that team, of coaching that team with a short runway. But he's doing it so far in the regular season. And he said in the locker room after the game, he said, I'll say it again, different guys every night, whatever it takes to win, that's what matters most. There is, I think, something to that is probably inspiring and empowering to guys off the bench, that even on a team with a superstar and with an established pecking order, if you do your job at a high level, there's a chance that you'll get to play more. And it's been that simple. I like the fluidity because, as I mentioned before, I think matchups are more important than ever in the modern NBA. And there are just some nights where it makes sense to put Peyton Watson out there instead of Christian Braun. Or there are just some nights where it makes sense to put Tim Hardaway Jr. out there instead of Cam Johnson if Tim's got it going. I think they have the group to do it now. I think that's one of the points and the benefits of having a deep roster.
I just think what it does for a player's confidence and just overall psyche is worth doing it. Like Peyton Watson, he's going to enter the next game with so much more confidence just because he got to close and they won. and he got that opportunity and he capitalized on it. Like, that means so much to players. And it also means so much when you're playing well and you deserve to close and then you get pulled.
Yeah.
That also carries over into the next game. So I think it's a great precedent that David Adelman's setting. I think it's the right approach. And I think there are probably, 3 spots even that could change in a closing lineup. I think AG's spot could be up for grabs some nights if he just doesn't have it. And it's obvious that Peyton Watson should be in there.
So you have Bruce Brown, Peyton Watson, and Tim Hardaway Jr., who I think all do a little bit of different things and can be having a night that you could swap those guys in. I think the only anchors to the Nuggets closing lineup are Murray and Jokic.
Yeah.
And I would put Aaron Gordon as a near lock. I think that he's the guy that if he doesn't close a game when healthy this year, there might be 1 or 2. But I think he's the one guy you kind of count on to do the job that you want of him, whether he makes shots or not. And this is not anything against CB or Cam. It's that both of them, their skill sets are maybe a little bit more unbalanced. So if CB has a defensive matchup that Peyton Watson is more suited towards, you could go to that. If you need more shooting, you could go to Tim Hardaway. Same goes for Cam Johnson. So I feel like there's some flex here. But it is interesting to me because one brings stability. Every single night you go to your closing 5 and you win or lose. It also brings, if you lose that game, you never say, well, they should have done this or that. It's like they always close with KCP and MPJ. This is what you do. You close with those guys. Whereas the versatility allows you to solve all problems, but you still have to guess at what the right answer is. You don't always know. And as we saw last year against the Clippers, close with Russ, you win. Everyone says, good job, Adelman, you did it right. Close with Mike and you lose, and everyone says, oh, well, if you wouldn't have done that, maybe you win. Sometimes you just win or lose, and uncertainty can be its own anchor.
I was just going to say it's a really brave choice for a rookie head coach. It's going to give folks in our position a lot of chances to, in hindsight, criticize their approach or their decisions.
Rotation Twitter is going to be like peaking this year at levels we've never seen.
But I think, Adelman he's been consistent about like, he's coming here to join something that there was a version of it that already worked. Well, not join, he was a part of it, but now he gets to have his hand on the wheel. And I think he's willing to, as you wrote in the preview, kind of embrace the ugly at times or the unknown in a chance to unlock possibility and even kind of dirty himself in the process, right? Like there will be nights where we go, why did he do that? It might be because he has a longer term goal in mind, or he had a different vision for how it would manifest. He's kind of willing to let us hang some of the L's on him, right? And that's actually obviously it's his job, but in a weird way, it's pretty brave from a rookie head coach.
But can you be critical for a second in this one way? It sounds great because we're coming off of a win.
Yeah.
But also giving a coach this but every night that means you have to decide what the closing lineup is. I think
Adelman loves that.
I think he does too, but it's a slippery slope.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
I mean, you got to make those decisions on the fly. Like, you got to evaluate in real time. Is it PWAT or is it AG? Is it Tim Hardaway or Cam?
And not only that, one thing you hear when things go wrong is players of PWAT stature will say, well, I never know when I'm playing or when I don't.
Yep.
And it's hard. And it's like, you don't want to fall into that either.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I mean, that's true. I think, look, there's a rotation and then there's closing. And I mean, as you outlined, even though he seems to be embracing it more, Malone did do this at times. And so I just, look, as I said.
No, I don't think to this extent, though. I think it was the Bruce or the Russ. It was like one guy. There was
two guys were hurt last night, though, right? So one guy was hurt, so that's why 2 guys were out there.
Possibly.
But maybe it would have been the right choice anyway.
Cam was playing pretty bad.
Yeah, no, for sure. But
that shoulder hurts a little more when when you can't catch any passes.
I would say in PWAT's position, like any chance where he gets to maybe play more, you know what I mean? Like it's not. Yeah. He's still going to be in the rotation. It's I think like it was more for Mike in the early years when it was, am I in the rotation? Do I get to make mistakes? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so this is, I think, more of giving guys a longer runway when they've earned it.
Well, think about this from Cam's perspective, or even from CB's. Both guys have some pressure on them that they haven't had before. Cam coming to a new team. CB just signed this big deal. No matter what you say, I'm sure he's happy with the money and everything, but there is the now I have to live up to it. If you're either of those guys, is your confidence at all rattled? I don't think off of one game, but let's say this happens once a week or, it happens somewhat regularly. I do think that would affect both players in some way.
I think Cam more than Christian. I think Christian's been here for a minute. I think he's pretty confident in his role. He's confident playing next to these guys. But for Cam, totally. I mean, he's trying to build up confidence, build up good possessions, build up rep after rep after rep. And this last night was obviously a huge killer for that. Like, it killed all the momentum he might have had coming off the Suns game where he played pretty well. Now he's like starting at ground zero again. So with him, yes, like if he puts together a couple of games and puts together a couple stints where he's in the closing lineup and playing well and the Nuggets are winning those games, yes, that's massively important to him. And I do worry a little if he's getting yanked, if that does wear on his confidence, because you just kind of get the sense that it's not super stable right now.
Part of the job, though, maybe. I mean, he's filling Mike's role, and you wait for shots. He might not get them. If you don't have the juice, maybe someone else closes. So at least he's paid a substantial amount less. And so if that's the case, it's a little easier for everyone to swallow.
But let me know in the comments. I'm very curious what people think. I think right now it's easy to say, no, the versatility outweighs the stability. This is the best way to go. And I do think I fall in that camp, but it is a narrow needle to thread in that you really have to find that versatility without players always guessing or feeling like they have to look over their shoulder. I do think there's a way to do it, but you can't tilt too far in one direction or the other.
But Malone also got killed for being too rigid, right?
Correct.
So it's, it's a tough needle
That's
to
why
thread.
I said there's like, if you look at it as a spectrum, there's too rigid that goes all the way to here. There's too flexible that goes all the way here.
Right.
And the right middle is like right there at the right exact balance.
I do think Adelman loves it, though.
I do too.
Like, this is totally his style.
Adelman loves to think the game on paper, and like
he loves to think about the game.
And so this is thinking man's basketball. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, what do we know about the Nuggets? For sure, know.
Shout out to Bet365. It's Tuesday. Check out their NBA Tip-Off Tuesday offer. It's never ordinary at Bet365, and you can see why tonight. You can place a qualifying same-game parlay bet with the safety net bet feature on Tuesday NBA games. Get up to $10 in bonus bets if the bet loses. Terms and conditions apply. Download the app. Use code DNVR365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bets365. Right now, you can also get $200 in bonus bets if you're a new customer and sign up with the code DNVR365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Whether you're looking to take the kids to school, the family up to the mountains, the family to Ball Arena to enjoy a good basketball or hockey game, you should do it in a Toyota. It can be stylish, it can be safe, and there's a wide variety of options for the wide variety of Coloradans that now inhabit our great state. If you're a truck guy or gal, then of course you know trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA. They also have more low and zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. So if that's the direction you're looking to head in with your next vehicle purchase, it's there for you as well. In total, there are 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, like that Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. There's AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe in Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places, but not until after the show. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. But you can hop in the Toyota chat along with everybody. See what's the chat talking about today, Kale? The show or random things? Hey, what do you know?
Good job, chat.
Good job, chat. We're locked in, baby. We're 3 games in, 1 week. I don't feel like we know that much about the Denver Nuggets. There are a few things I think we know. Number 1, Murray is off to a better start than ever. It's only 3 games, and I think some people would say we think we know this, but we don't know. I'm ready to put this in the no pile. We heard it at camp. We heard it in the summer before camp. We heard it at camp, and now we're seeing it through these games. And I'm ready to say he just looks quicker. He looks more locked in. He looks more confident. He looks more aggressive. I'm ready to say Murray is going to have the best first opening month of his career.
Yeah, I mean, so far it's not even close. And he said all the right things. He did all the right things, and it carried through. Like, the results are showing, man. I mean, this is exactly what it looks like when you come into camp in shape, when you're pissed off about how last season went, when you heard all the noise over the summer about how, you're not the same Jamal Murray. This is what it looks like when you answer the call.
He is tied for 11th in scoring in the NBA right now at 30 points. And as I said, 53% shooting. That would rank number, a lot of these are bigs. Then he's shooting 43% from three on 7 attempts, 93% from the foul line, 50, 40, 90 at 30 points per game. Yeah, that's a good start. Yeah.
I mean, it's in the box score now, as well as what you can see on the court, right?
Yep.
You can see it in his I think seemingly newfound quickness and shiftiness. His conditioning is there, and he's enjoying these minutes with the second unit as well, where they're able to run real offense because there's real personnel. There was one last night where they ran an action for Tim Hardaway, and then it just flowed into Matt Brooks put this out there. It's like a double drag with Tim and Val setting the screens for Murray. And then the defense is worried about Tim spacing the floor. And then Murray gets into the paint, and Rudy Gobert's hanging out with Big Val because that's a real center who might be able to score. All of a sudden, there's room for a guy who's as locked in as ever. You've seen it. You've seen it manifest so far. You've also seen it in his body language. I think we heard the good stuff about the leadership in the summer. I can see some of it, right? In the one game I went to at Ball Arena, he was so animated off the bench, cheering for everyone. His body language was so good on the court. He was having fun. He's usually really, really locked in his pregame routines. This time he even took a second to high five a couple of kids on his way back through the tunnel.
Love it, man. It's different. It's different, man.
There's a weight lifted, and not just for Murray. With Murray lifting that weight, there's a weight lifted off the rest of the team as well, and I would love to see this carry over.
D-Line said it best in the preview, the documentary, where he talked about he gets the sense that Murray is sort of like Jokic before him, growing up, and his world's expanding, and he's a father, and he's got a veteran, and he's got all these things under his belt, and it does seem like it, like it's just kind of matured into this new version. So,
like the second that $46 million extension hit my bank account, I'd have the same kind of outlook on. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
What else do we know? Adelman is a very different coach than Michael Malone, and he's probably flexible on way more things than we're used to being flexible on. 10-man rotation. Although last night, not quite a 10-man rotation, but still, we'll call it a 9+ man rotation where guys get minutes, whether, you're still going to play guys. Even on bad nights, they're going to get 16, 17 minutes a game. Altered closing lineup. One thing, and I'm going to do the list. Kale and I are doing the list right after this, so it'll drop on YouTube here in a couple hours, maybe an hour or two. One of the things they're doing a lot of is having everyone screen for Jokic. Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., Cam Johnson. They did this last year, but not nearly to the extent. It was Christian Braun, it was Aaron Gordon, it was Jamal Murray, and it was rare that somebody else would do it. Right now, if you're on the floor, you're screening for Jokic in the pick and roll.
Yeah, the versatility, the diversification of the offense. These are, again, things we talked about, things we thought we'd see, and, we're seeing them play out. I love how, with Adelman's rotations, in each of these 3 games, it's been a slightly different rotation.
Yep.
It hasn't been close to the same thing in either one of these. I mean, last night, Jokic starts the 4th quarter. We can talk about if that was a good or bad thing, but it was completely different from how he ran things in the first 2 games. So,
well, even his rotation in the 2nd quarter was new this last game, what you're talking about, and it didn't work. And I think some of this that's when they made the run.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's because of the rotation. I'm just saying that Adelman seems willing to risk things like that, even if they don't go well.
And that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
And he got killed for it in the playoffs. And look, maybe rightfully so.
Yeah.
But it is telling that he just did it again. He thinks it can work.
Something I love about Adelman, man. You can tell he's thought out all of these scenarios beforehand. And there's reason behind all the moves he does make.
Yeah.
So when he's asked about things, he has an exact reason of why he might have done something. And you can tell if it's right or wrong, if it works or it doesn't. It's been thought out and it's made perfect sense why they're doing it, in his mind.
Yeah.
I love that about him.
The third thing I think we have known is that the second unit has and almost certainly will have an identity. So whether it's good or bad, it's just, I feel like in years past, it was a hang on, play some defense and just hold on for dear life mentality. They and you would what was their way of scoring? If they were going to win, how would they do it? You couldn't say last year because it was a hodgepodge. This group has an identity, man. Big Val, Jamal Murray being aggressive, Tim Hardaway Jr. being aggressive, Peyton Watson handling the ball, Bruce Brown doing all the little things. Like, they have an identity. Even win or lose, they have an identity. And that's why I think it's going to even get better throughout the course of the year.
They have the personnel to run real offense.
Yeah.
To run real offense. We've heard a lot about how David Alderman wants everyone to be aware of all the different counters and all the different possibilities that can flow out of some of the principles he's been installing for a long time here, right? And some of the actions we've grown used to. Now we're seeing that when Jokic goes off the floor. I'm not saying to the same effect, but they're trying things. One part of it is Big Val and the screens that he sets. Jamal Murray started talking a lot last year about screens, especially in the context of like an underrated talking point, something that maybe people off the court don't notice or talk about as much. Murray is a pick and roll guard, man. Setting a solid screen does a lot for him. After the game last night, he credited good screening in his interview. They haven't really had a real pick and roll screener and as far as their center or their undersized center. And Big Val can do that. Big Val can really do that. And I think for Murray, having the option of he can set this screen, it frees me up, and they're spacing because the defense is worried about these other guys. That's new. That's new territory for him with 15 on the bench, and so it's really great to see.
Is there anything else we know that you guys want to add? I have some things we think we know, but is there something you think, oh, no, we know this?
The offense is just...
The offense is going to be good. You can put that in there. Because that feels like we're leaving so much on the board, and it's still great.
And it's still, like, great. They're walking backwards, like, into 120 points.
I mean, I think there are little things here and there. I mean, Aaron Gordon's still a good shooter. Like, it doesn't seem like that was a one-year blip.
Well, he has 2 games without making one, right?
No, he made one last night.
Oh, he was one last night? He did?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Well, maybe I take that
No, he's
back.
0 for 2.
Maybe I take that back. He might not be a good shooter.
Well, that's why it's in the next category, which is what we think we know. Here's one thing I'll say.
I think I know that.
Peyton Watson is leveling up in his new role. He has a new role, and I think he is better, like playing better. Like coming into the year, Peyton Watson was a question mark. There was a chance, he didn't play this or that. I think right now it's hard to imagine him being outside of the rotation. And not because there's, they shorten it or whatever. I just think he's one of the guys that they're going to go to battle with. We think we know. I'm personally more confident, but I will say that we don't know that for certain. But I do think we all feel that Peyton Watson is a surefire top 8 guy.
I think it's a thing I think we know. Yeah.
I agree.
I think we know AG's role and ability is evolving.
Yes.
And I tie shooting into this. We think he is a much better shooter. We think that. I think we feel pretty confident. Last year tells us
the shooter he was last year.
The shooter he was last year, that can be consistent. But is he a lockdown defender to the degree he was at his actual peak in the championship year and this or that? Last night getting cooked has me a little shook. And then athletically, he still is strong. Like he powers through guys. But missing a couple of dunks now, including the finale oop, which is such a bummer to miss. That's the only thing, man.
We
didn't talk about it last night. That was the cherry on top. We
needed it. We need a finale oop so badly.
Ending that game with a finale oop would have been like, all right, are we in a simulation?
It's true. It was a little bit of, a couple of analogies I won't make. But yeah, it was a bit unsatisfying. You know what I mean?
To think of where you were
It was a
going
bit
with that.
unsatisfying. There was almost a, there's almost a big climax. But
there was.
There
It was
wasn't.
almost a big
There
climax.
But the setup was beautiful. It was just like a perfect setup. The lob was there. Maybe a little too high on the lob.
Maybe, but again, that's something you
I
never.
just want to point out, Vogt could have said anticlimactic and blown right through that without
right.
anybody
But
noticing.
that's not what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Hilarious. Yeah. So I just have those things. Like, is it evolving? Is he still capable of being the guy? I mean, he had one of the best dunks of the year last game.
It's pretty sweet.
But he did look a little tired and worn down. So I don't know. We think we know. And what else do we think we know?
Unfortunately, Jalen Pickett isn't playing much.
He's out of the rotation.
I think we know that.
Yeah, but you know what? I think he is going to play. It's just
Right.
knock on wood. There haven't been
that's
any
why,
injuries yet, but 10-man rotation. Next guy comes in.
It's interesting because you know how David Adelman said, that last spot in the rotation, it can change every single night.
Has yet to
Well,
change.
it's been the same guy 3 games in. Maybe game 4 it changes. That's something to watch for sure.
Does Julian want the 20 seconds?
Well, Julian's not a 20-second guy.
Yeah.
He needs a little more than that to get going.
Julian's like, that's the game I couldn't have played in, by the way, last night.
Like, you can't put an offensive guy out there for 20 seconds
Why
and
not?
expect something.
Sometimes it's an offense possession, 20 seconds left. Hey, Julian, go out there, me in the corner, and if the ball finds you, knock it down.
That's way tougher than going out and guarding.
Fouling a guy on the inbound
Going out
play.
and committing a technical
Hey,
foul.
Julian's like, first of all,
Yeah,
I could have done that.
I could have easily done that.
Check in and foul.
What we have yet to learn, does Cam Johnson fit? I hate that this one is, a bigger question right now than it was 3 games ago.
This is a what we haven't learned and not a think we know?
You think that he does not fit?
I think he does fit.
But we just haven't seen it. I mean, here's the number.
Those other things we've at least seen a little
Yeah,
of.
and this one, again, I think I know this too, but yet to learn, yet to really see. Cam Johnson right now, if we go to the Nuggets 2-man net lineups with Jokic, so everybody with Jokic on, what do they look like? Jokic and Christian Braun, plus 10.5 net rating. Aaron Gordon and Jokic, plus 12.8. Murray and Jokic, plus 17. Cam Johnson and Jokic, minus 5.7.
That seems fake.
I mean, 3 games, all it takes is one bad run, and you could tank it. So, like, small sample size, take it with a huge grain of salt.
And he was off the floor for some of the big stretches last night as well. He was hurt, so
a lot of that might
that's
have
gonna
just
be part of it.
strictly been last night. He's 3 of 12 from 3 so far, which both of those numbers are crazy. To only be shooting 3 of 12, but also you only got 12 shots from 3 up in 3 games.
I mean, he only played half a game yesterday, too. But it does seem low, even with that.
Worst numbers per game across the board, including his rookie year. Even his rookie year was higher.
Still think he fits. Obviously, he's not producing, but I still think he fits. And the offense doesn't look fundamentally different. And there's one thing that Cam is still doing, and I'm going to do it for him because I harped on it when Mike was here. They are the guys on the roster that the other team goes, I don't care where you are. I've got a hand on your chest. I'm not letting you shoot an open 3. Like, Murray and Jokic cooking in the middle of the floor is made possible by healthy spacing. Cam Johnson, at the very least, is still doing that. Yeah. And then when there's an action that requires him to be somewhere else or cut all the way through, he's still doing that. I'm not sugarcoating what's been a poor start production-wise, but he does fit. And I think as the 3s start falling, should he stay healthy, we're going to start to feel good about it.
It is nice that the Nuggets' floor seems so high that they can withstand him being below expectation so far and still be looking really good with 2 blowout wins, basically, and 1 really close road loss against a tough team. Yeah. But I will say, there are questions that I have that I would say the question of his fit is starting to take texture, whereas before I just assumed yes or this or that. One of the questions I have is, there is an aggressiveness you need in playing in this lineup because the shots don't come always, that when they do come, you have to be aggressive. Not just shooting, but also getting to the rim. One of the things that impressed me about Tim Hardaway, it wasn't the open shots that he took and made. It was when he turned the corner and got to the cup, which he did a couple of times. And it's like, yes, that took initiative. That took yes, I'm turning the corner and going here. And I think those are the plays that Yoke's talking about when he says, we're telling him to be aggressive. So quit being cautious. Like, you have your guy on your hip, go to the rim, try to make a play.
And he's done that a couple of times.
He has.
He has definitely done that a couple of times. It just needs to be in his head that that's what I'm looking to do every time.
How about this one? Does the defense work?
Yeah.
We have a new defense, but right now the Nuggets are 19th in defensive rating, 115.7. It's a work in progress. Nobody expected it to be great right out of the gate.
I think we know it doesn't. I think we know it doesn't.
Really?
No, I don't know. I'm just trying to be creative with the framing of it. I'm worried that it doesn't, but I think it's too early for schematically to have a definitive take.
Yeah. I have no idea. I don't have a good feel for through 3 games whether the Nuggets have played. I know they haven't played elite defense. I know that.
Correct.
But I know that. But I don't really have a feel for if the defense is going to be good this year or bad.
Right. And how much this new scheme impacts
it's because
it.
there's just been so much to focus on, I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, we see the trade-off that they're making. They're kind of forcing the ball into guys' hands like Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks made a lot of threes. So you're kind of like, okay, does it? So I don't think we know. And Jokic was asked about this after the game, and he was like, the defense is working when we run it. We're not running it very often. And so some defense is the hardest thing to sort of analyze, especially as an outsider, not on the coaching staff and behind the curtain. But I do think there's a sense of this is new and we're still trying to wrap our heads around how to execute it.
There's no doubt.
There are a couple teams coming up. I mean, New Orleans and Portland, these next 2 games, you could have some really good defensive games against those 2 teams.
Yeah, you could. Portland will be an interesting. New Orleans is bad, and if Zion is, I don't know if Zion's a go. He did not play in their last game.
They're 0-3.
But without Zion, they're really bad. I mean, with Zion, at least you have to account for him, and he's such a unique player. But without Zion, it's like you cannot lose to that team. We'll see if he ends up playing or not.
Right. So is that a Christian Braun, Jordan Poole game? You know what I mean? Look, the scheme, I agree it's way too early, and especially because to Yoke's point, sometimes they're just not doing it. Sometimes they're disjointed. It's going to take a while to A, get it, and then B, you need buy-in from everyone. The thing that does bother me a little bit through 3 games is you have yet to see kind of Christian Braun pop individually in that starting lineup. Not saying he can't, but it's something we didn't see a ton of last regular season. Yeah. We haven't seen it so far through 3 games. It's at the top of my wish list for the next 2.
I think that's a very fair one. Let us know what things you guys believe we have yet to learn, what things you think, and what things you know about the Nuggets so far. Maybe there's something we missed. We could talk about it on the pregame show. Kale, bring up, last night, Carmelo Anthony interviewed Nikola Jokic, and as far as I know, it's the first time those two have ever talked to each other. The 2 biggest faces of Denver Nuggets franchise, in my opinion, Carmelo and Jokic, certainly of the last 30 years, face-to-face. Let's play that interview.
Other than during a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we play that?
Joker, Melo here. Listen, what's up, baby? You make the game seem or look so effortless. What is it that you guys are doing together as a team right now, early on in this season, offensively? Because you guys are clicking on the offensive end.
Yeah, I think we have a different option, different, like I said, different lineups. We respect each other. Let's say personnel. We respect each other's space, and if somebody has it going, we give him the ball. And we have so many movements and so many different actions. All the splits, all the pick and rolls, all the posts. I think we have so many offensive weapons, let's say like that, and we are using all of them right now. Just trying to get used to play with each other.
Yes.
Hey, this is VC here. I know you wear 15. Nice number. I really have a great appreciation for that.
We got a couple 15. We got a couple 15s.
Interesting interview. I mean, I will say the first thing, it's like...
It was definitely a little awkward.
It was awkward, right?
Melo felt awkward. I guarantee you.
Part of it is the delay, too. I'll keep it real.
Yeah,
that
I think you're
really
right.
awkward.
And Melo did the thing where this was the equivalent of a like handshake fist bump combo where you're like, what are we doing? Because he did the like, what's up, Jokic? This is Melo. Dramatic pause. And Jokic's like,
hi, Melo.
Hey, Melo. Or something. It was like a little weird, but I wish I felt better about this moment. Just because it was a little awkward, but it is kind of cool, I guess. Like Melo interviewing Jokic.
It was weird.
It was weird. It was more weird than cool, but I want it to be cool.
It was really weird. Yeah. What's up, Joker? Hi, Melo. What's up? Like, it was just weird, but
I wish
it was cool.
I wish Melo would have just gone right into something. You know, like he asked a gracious question. It was interesting. I kind of wish he would have been like,
"Why'd you choose number 15?"
Well, not that.
Oh,
should they retire us together? What do you think?
No, not even that. I don't know. What's it like playing in Denver or something? You know, like, hey man,
I know he did go with like the most generic question possible.
It was like anybody could ask that, or just something like, here's what it really is. And maybe I'm trying to write my own fan fiction. I would have loved it to be, what's up, Jokic? This is Melo. Hey, I want to let you know I'm a huge fan of your game. I love what you've been doing in Denver. You know, I'm a former Nugget. It's really cool to see another Nugget, do that. Maybe I'm just trying to write my own fan fiction here, but that would
totally
cool.
are.
You might be, yeah. You might be.
The 15 part that Vince Carter brings up was so funny because obviously he wore 15 too.
Yeah.
But they were talking about the Melo-Jokic jersey retirement thing in the production meeting.
Of course.
And so Vince Carter throws that joke out there.
Which of Jokic is just like, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, like I wouldn't touch that with a 40-foot pole, but I mean, I'll extend the very generous benefit of the doubt and say Melo has this podcast. Going to live network TV is a bit different.
Yeah.
And there is a delay, and like it probably just straight up was awkward for him. I don't know if it necessarily implies anything, but also it wasn't Yeah, it wasn't the most legend to legend buddy thing. It wasn't.
Because Melo knows he's never gone out of his way to like heap praise on Jokic.
And I wish he would. That's what I'm saying. Is I wish he would.
He is very aware that he's never gone to bat for Jokic. He's never done the Denver thing. He knows that. That's why I feel like he felt a little awkward there.
I want with like we have Dirk Nowitzki doing media now. We got Steve Nash.
Yeah.
We've got Michael Jordan, kind of. We've got all these new guys, and part of me is like, I would like to see a Melo-Jokic one-on-one. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's a chance whenever they're in the same building to get just a little. I think that would be a great feature.
Yeah.
How many people would love to see that? Especially if it was done graciously and like the two get to kind of compliment each. This is the thing when people talk about. I love. D-Line's line about why do we have to honor him? What's like this idea of honoring? I just would like the cathartic thing would be just talk about the new team. If the Nuggets are your team and some part of your history, what did he say? They are part of my foundation or something. I can't remember what the line was. It'd be cool to have him interviewing Jokic in a way that was gracious and showed appreciation. And I hope we get it. I mean, last night maybe wasn't the moment for it, but I hope we get it.
Yeah, for sure. I hope we do too. Do you think Tarico asked MJ any Jokic questions in that sit down that they're clipping out?
We haven't talked about this yet, have we? I was so excited for MJ, and it turns out they did like a 10-minute interview, and they're going to chop it into 1-minute segments.
Yeah, just random stories about MJ renting out rich houses.
Can I tell you something though, man? I was so into. I'm curious with you.
Anything MJ says, I'm
That's
locked
what I was going to
in.
say. Is like if you think about it, he really didn't say that much profound about him not how nervous he was when he had to shoot. By the way, I loved that answer. I just related to it so much.
It was cool. Yeah.
And it also just kind of shows you like.
Did you see the video?
Yeah, and then the video comes out, which shows you that it was actually a real story, which I just love. But I love this idea of a living legend who is like, I am him, but I'm not him at the same time. You know. And the pressure.
And a guy who's gone out of his way to just sort of not be public when he doesn't need to be, right?
Yep.
To then come out of the woodwork. I will say, I've kind of trained my brain a little bit to like, I see that sit down format and I'm like, yeah, I don't care about this at all.
You don't?
I mean,
bro, I thought his thing about giving back to the game to me was so profound because I think it's the biggest schism between this generation, which I would call the LeBron generation, and all the players that have come behind it, and this idea of like, yeah, man, we became billionaires off of this. We owe it to the game to like try to put it in a good place. And I just thought, to me, I was like, man, he gave us 1 minute of interview and he had 2 bangers.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say I've heard that before from other former players. He's the GOAT. I kind of laughed a little bit when I realized what it was, is all I'm saying. It would have been nice if he was in studio, and jokes on me for ever thinking he would be.
Maybe he will, maybe at some point. I don't know. I'm into it, though. I'm into all the broadcasts. I hear Peacock people, I think, are the least happy with Peacock.
Peacock kind of seems maybe the most like ESPN.
Really?
Just to me.
Has a little bit of that feel to it.
Yeah.
Amazon's been pretty cool.
The Prime desk is great. I like the guy. Like, they have Udonis, Steve Nash, Blake Griffin, who's great.
Yeah,
They
Blake Griffin
definitely
was a
took
lock
some
to be
inspiration
good.
from the DNVR set.
Yeah, and Dirk. Yeah. No, that's like my favorite, because sometimes you get player panels and you're like,
set.
all right, I don't know.
Good.
But they are, there's like a nice combination of pedigree, charisma, and then like variety of how long have you been out of the league. That panel has been really cool.
I like that they tried to do something, like they're doing something completely different. They're not trying to recreate inside the NBA or anything like, they're doing completely their own thing, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
The stuff they did when they got out on the court, like moving around like a video game, like that stuff's hard to like do, but it looked cool.
It is. I did, although everybody was gushing over that. Part of me was like, feels a little like when you get a new expensive technology toy and it doesn't, you're like, I don't know if
Like
this
that
was
shit
as
must have
necessary.
been so expensive.
The virtual
And
court.
it looks really cool.
I think,
It's cool that they're trying,
Bezos
though.
has some money.
It's good. Yeah. Oh, does that? I'll have to Google
I think
that.
he's doing all right.
It is cool that they're trying. The same way it's cool that ESPN is doing Coach's Corner with legs.
Oh,
And
man.
hopefully this can all push. That's the thing. A little healthy competition, right? Push
Yeah.
each other to be better.
Hey, good job, Adam Silver. I'll give you credit where it's due.
Yeah, and obviously you're having a great month, and there's no.
Hey, I beat him up enough that I might as well give him a shout out on something I didn't expect to go this well.
Sir Lobo 92. Hi guys. Hi
Hey.
guys. Exciting new season. I'm all in on Tim Hardaway Jr. and a little bit out on Cam John. Hopefully by the end, he is 2 feet in the circle of trust.
Hopefully, man.
by the end.
Thomas Hamblin, $20. Thank you very much, Thomas. First time chat and first time at the bar last night. Adam chatted us up. D-line high five after the win. Great vibes at the DNVR bar. Adam, sorry my wife crashed your watch along.
Hey, that was
that was your
no
wife.
problem, man. That was fun.
Crash or watch song anytime.
Big Honey, Pell's sneaky tough with Nugget killer Jordan Poole.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
Oh, man, they got to get rid of it. Hey, maybe that has them locked in for this game.
Probably not.
Probably not.
So.
Are we in the dog days? Hit that outro music, Kale. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you become a member, thednvr.com, so you can read votes and everyone's writing. And also make sure you're subscribed to the channel because the list is coming up next. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.